Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A quick word about Mahindra Logistics for many of you who may not know about it. Mahindra Logistics is one of the largest 3PL company in India, employing more than 12,000 people, having more than 250 operating locations, servicing in the verticals of automotive, engineering, consumer, pharma, e-commerce, and bulk. One of the big game changer in the supply chain and logistics era would be the onset of GST. And while we have been talking about GST for a pretty long time, and I am sure most of you who are the CEOs of the company would have worked in terms of internally trying to understand what strategies will change post the GST, I would like to highlight a couple of experiences which we have worked with our customers and how it is people are gearing up for the GST, which is now going to be live from July. Some of the key factors which will bring about a complete change or revamping of the supply chain logistics would be in the area of the warehousing. Today, when you take a typical FMCG company, probably they operate with 30 or 40 depots or warehouses across India. Eventually, our belief is that you will be able to reduce these warehouses by more than 50% post the GST. Once the state boundaries are gone, you don't have to worry about your planning from a tax point of view. You'll be able to reduce your warehousing footprint by almost 50%. You will also be able to see that instead of operating small warehouses, you'll be able to operate with large distribution centers, which will not only give the economies of scale, but it will also be, you will be able to do a lot more automation in those warehouses, which will bring down the per unit cost of operation. The second biggest advantage which you will see is the reduction in your inventory. Today your inventory is spread across multiple warehouses, and because of that, the overall inventory number goes up. With the kind of work which we have done with our clients, we believe that you should be able to drop your inventory levels by almost 20 to 25% by not only rationalizing the number of warehouses, but even starting some dispatches directly from the factories. The third thing is, as I mentioned earlier, is the reduction in the warehousing cost itself. Because of the large size DCs and the automation which will go along with that, your per unit cost of warehousing can come down. Another major change which will happen is in terms of the transportation. You will see that the primary transportation will become more efficient. You'll be able to do it with large trucking instead of small trucks, and the distances will reduce in terms of the primary movement. Obviously, the other challenge which will come along with this is because of the consolidation of warehouses, you will see that your secondary distances will go up, your secondary distribution cost will go up. But our belief is that between the reduction in the primary transportation cost and the secondary distribution cost, companies should be able to save between 3 to 4% of the distribution cost overall post GST. We have a couple of work which we have done with some of the FMCG company, one leading telecom companies, and the results which I would like to share quickly is in terms of in post GST scenario, the number of warehouses for a company were down from 7 to 3. The total warehousing space was down by 29%. Total inventory at warehouse reduced by 22%. and the overall cost impact of all this thing put together was around 6%. So these are some of the key KPIs which will get monitored, and one has to take into account that depending on their current business model, their current supply chain, and looking at the emerging scenario, companies will have to get ready in terms of planning right now how their supply chain will be set up for future. We strongly believe that these efficiencies will not only help in terms of cutting costs for your organization, but it can also mean that you'll be able to serve your customers better and eventually pass on some of this benefit to your customers for increasing the market share. If the GST, which is quite delayed so far, if it comes in July, I'm sure organization will start thinking or must have already done some groundwork in terms of how they are going to manage the scenario post the GST. We'll be very happy to connect with any one of you and share our experiences in terms of what we can do to enable your organization to meet the demand of the GST. Thank you very much.